Hi, this is Rob Anspach, and I'm with Chris Bolger. And Chris is the author of this wonderful book. Oh, can't see it. The ACE Method. Attract the right audience, connect with them emotionally, and empower them with your message. And Chris, this was a really awesome book, and you actually signed it for me, and I appreciate that so much. But so much has happened in the last year since that book came out. And so I think the audience needs to know who you are and a lot of the things that they need to change in their lives to be better. So welcome, and I really appreciate you taking the time to be here.
Cheers, Rob. Thank you. I really appreciate you inviting me. I mean, it's a tough act to follow after that Steve Sims interview. That guy's freaking awesome. Like that guy. Like to me, I saw him. I'm just like, he's way up here. Wow. And I'm just like, you bring me on after him. I was like, was that planned? Was it a big personal favor that I'm gonna have to owe back to you eventually? But I think it was just luck of the draw. But yeah,
Well,
thanks.
you have more hair than Steve. So
Apparently,
tell me
hair doesn't mean much.
so tell me what's going on right now. I mean, in your life, off the recording, we had talked about clarity. We had talked about some of the things that are holding people back. And so let's just jump right in. We're going to have a friendly conversation. It may bounce back and forth on subjects, but I think the audience is really going to get some wonderful things out of your brain, because I mean you're pushing the limits on some of not only your physical boundaries, but how you help others.
Yeah, I found that since I think 2008, I was very fortunate enough to find a mentor for hypnosis and a friend in one of the hypnosis classes that really changed the way I look at the world still. And it really is a matter of just changing the way you perceive it in the very beginning, and it changes the whole outcome. For example, recently I broke three Guinness World Records. And just last week, 2 weeks ago, I broke another one. And then last week, I found another one, and I broke that one too. So there are 5 world records so far. I applied online. I'm waiting for the okay to do it again. Now, I saw these records, and I was like one was a parallel bar dips. So there's 2 bars. You pick your weight up, and then you push yourself up, and you lift your body weight up. You do that with a 100-pound pack on your back. So the record was most dips under 1 minute with a 100-pound pack. And the record, when I first saw the video of the guy breaking the record, it was only 28. Now, when I say only 28, that's like my second set. So I was like, that's the record? Okay, let me try that tomorrow morning. So tomorrow morning comes. I had food poisoning all last night. No sleep, no food, no water. And I did it anyway. And I still beat it by 2 reps. So now on a good day, I did 50. So I almost doubled his number on my second attempt. So I had to make it official. And then the one last week was most pull-ups under 1 minute. Now the guy who just beat it in June, he spent 1 year training for it. 1 full year doing pull-ups as fast as he possibly can for 1 minute, and he beat him by 1 rep. I come along. I don't train for these. I work out for fun. I work out for a different reason. I don't work out for to look a specific way, to lift a certain amount of weight. I lift because it solves my life's problems in the act of lifting, and that's my second book is all about that. So when I went to go do this, I was like, let me just try this out. The record was 43, so I'm like, okay, that seems reasonable. I did 47, first time. Second time I did 48. Third time, that's going to be when I get the okay from Guinness to break it. But they're already broken, and it wasn't even a matter of challenge. It was a matter of just being in the right place in your mind at the right time.
Well, how do you get to that right place? I mean, because there's a lot of people out there that they would maybe open a book and say, wow, okay, Guinness record, I could do that. And then they'll try to go out and they'll come nowhere even close to attempting it. How do people get into that mindset?
Well, first you got to realize whatever environment you're in, those beliefs that are around you, what you think like for example, when you have a dream, actually before I was going, so you're around these people, and you see certain limitations like on the laws of physics that prevent you from being outside the box, because everyone around you does it the same way. So it's like, of course you have to do it that way. No one says that, but it's kind of understood that that's how it goes. You go to the gym on a Monday, it's kind of obvious that everyone does chest. National Chest Day, you know? That's the group think. And you'll see it on social media, therefore you think it happens in your gym. And then you realize it does happen in your gym. But how did so many people fall for the same trap? Let's all do chest on Monday, and then let's all do leg day on this day, and let's all have a day off on this day. It's like, what website, I know what website it is, but what website is barking these orders out that says this is the law? And everybody in the gym, some people change over time, some people don't. They look the same. And that's what's going to keep you from reaching your own unique strength. It's like when you dream. When you dream at night and you wake up, you know that it was just a dream. You know that those laws of physics were not real, but they were temporary for the dream. So you might say to somebody, oh, I had a dream last night, and I had this dream that like me and you were going somewhere, and it was understood that we were going to this party in Texas. It's like, well, did anyone say that in the dream? No, but you just kind of felt like you were that was where you're going. But you really could have been going anywhere. So your beliefs in the gym, for example, just as an example, in the gym, if you want to break a record, or you want to lift a certain amount of weight, you just put your blinders on to everybody else, and you do your thing. You just do your thing, regardless of how many. I still get stares at the gym. I get stared at hard because I'm this skinny little white guy. I'm 155 pounds, you know, and it's like I see these big guys lifting massive amounts of weight, and I don't lift that much. I don't deadlift 800 pounds for 10 reps, but I'll go to dips, and I'll stack on the weight. I'll stack on the weight. I'll stack on the weight. I have like almost 5 45-pound plates hanging from my waist. Right now, my maximum dip is like 385, and that's for at least 2 reps. I don't count 1 rep maxes. That doesn't count to me. I gotta get 1 and then 2, and then they come look at me and they say, you know, you have all the 45-pound plates. Can I borrow one? And they look at me weird, and I say, no, I'm lifting all those. They're like, you're lifting all these? Yeah, right now. Yeah, can you wait 30 seconds, please? And they give me this attitude. I'm like, I'm sorry, are you offended that I'm lifting heavier than you? I don't say that, but. So the main part is to block everything out. Don't, realize that whatever you say, whatever you're saying to yourself that is going to keep you from getting it, like, oh, I can't do that because I've never seen that done. That's a crappy reason. That's the reason why you should do it. Because nobody's been there before. And there's open space. The second you make the attempt to go in that direction, you're going to realize there's open space for it. There's no competition, and that's what you want. Competition, I think Grant Cardone says this. I love that guy. Grant Cardone says competition is for sissies. And it is. It's like you play with other people, you fight back and forth because you're afraid of just shooting up to the top. When you find your own zone, your own little niche, I like dips and pull-ups. I don't know why. I'm not a bar star like on YouTube. Those guys that do like flips and stuff on the bars. I can't do that. I wish I could do that, but I can't. In my way of doing pull-ups is very boring, very particular, but it's what I'm good at. And nobody else, I've never seen anybody else around me do that kind of weight, ever, in my life. Still to this day, I've never seen anyone do it. I'm the first in real life that I've ever seen do it. The people out there do it, but they're such a low number of people. So we don't know each other.
You were a wrestler in high school, so you had some type of kind of mental toughness.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. You see, I do have a background in pushing my body to a certain limit, and that led me along the path to doing what I'm doing now with my physical limit. That's just me, though. Anybody else, if you played, this is the thing that drives me nuts. I was talking to this girl yesterday near in New York, and she said, "Yeah, I wasted 5 years of my life in college." So she's pretty much taking the 5-year period where she had experiences, she had ups and downs, she had things that made her story, and she just decided not to talk about it. What you should be doing is focusing on integrating all the good and the bad in your life and making it work for you. That's your story. And you decide where that's going to go next. You decide the ending. You decide what you're going to get out of it. It's not good nor bad. It's just it's your ups and downs. Everybody has them. Some people like to get them tattooed all over their body. Your ups and downs are your story. Use that. That's the hand that you were dealt. If you were abused as a child, that's part of your story. Don't hide that. Make peace with it. Gather the courage to utilize that in whatever you're doing now, because you learned something from that, and that's why you are who you are now. If in high school you played flute in a band, that's part of your story. You might not like it. You might say, "Oh, such a dork," and now you might be leading into like having a wife and kids. It's like, well, how did a guy so cool nowadays? He has a wife and kids. He does this. He does SEO. He does it, and now he lifts weights. But he was such a dork in high school. How did he get there? That's the part that's valuable.
Yeah, I was a dork in high school. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I'm probably still a dork, but you know, I think I push myself more now as I got older than I did when I was a teenager. Because
Yeah, and it took your valuable life story to lead you
I
in this
didn't.
direction.
I'm sorry, I lost you.
I said you're pushing yourself more than ever now as a direct result of your entire life playing out the way it did. So maybe in high school and as a teenager, you didn't have the stimulus around. There was no urgency to push yourself. But now as you see and meet other people and you've had kids and then your kids have kids and then they put you in situations where it's like they don't pay you back for the weddings and all that kind of stuff, and then you sell your company, now you have to hustle again, and then you realize like you find yourself in the flow of changing all the time. And that's a skill that a lot of people, even therapists, would love to learn how to do.
And we're getting some Wi-Fi interference. I don't know what the deal is, but that's the joy of these Google Hangouts. Some of them are just perfect. Some of them are just, you see?
Yeah.
I got cars pulling out and making noise. But see, you know, I think that, you know, typically entrepreneurs are distracted by everything. They don't know how to focus. You know, and you know, one of the things that we talked about offline was clarity. And you know, we're so overwhelmed by social media, by what's going on our outside influences, by family, by friends, by the news, that sometimes there is no clarity. We kind of we live our lives haphazard, you know, and sometimes with blinders on, and sometimes we follow other people, and I think that somewhere along the line the entrepreneurs need to get the clarity. They need to say, you know what, I'm tired of following somebody. I need clarity so I can go out there and conquer the world myself.
I agree with that. And the way that works is with clarity is that there's a really great book by Jamie Smart called Clarity. And I think it's a revolutionary book because there's no techniques, there's no methods, there's no protocols, there's no exercises. You read the book, and it changes you as you read the book. It helps you come to a realization instead of learning how to develop the skill of clarity. Clarity is always there, and I'm paraphrasing from this book, from Jamie Smart's book. Clarity is always there. What clarity is the capacity that you have in your head, in your mind, minus all the contaminated thinking. So contaminated thinking, and like I said, I'm just paraphrasing, this is not my idea. I really wish it was. Oh. Contaminated thinking is when you're sitting still or you're doing something, and then you think to yourself, oh, I should be doing this instead. I should be doing this instead. Or, oh, I hate where I am right now. That's actually not you. You're creating the thoughts. Your brain's job is to create thoughts, just to create all day long. That's when you feel the emotions, like you feel negative emotions, that's you falling for your own thoughts. Similar to how a child watches a scary movie and they think that the flying monkeys are going to pop through the TV and eat them, or that the flying monkeys are actually real and they'll bump into them one day, or that the actual movie is actually happening right now, like this witch is going to kill this little girl. and it freaks you out. Like as a kid, you get scared, you might cry, scream, you might have trouble sleeping at night, and it might scar you for life. Funny story about my mother, when she was like I think 5 or 6 years old, that's when Jaws came out, and I just revealed my age, her age too. When Jaws came out, she went to go see it by herself because back then there were no rules. She had a pink lemonade, and it scared the crap out of her, and she thought that Jaws was in her lemonade. So that happens because as a child you don't understand the nature of film. And then as you get older, you realize the nature of film is that it wasn't real, it was recorded a long time ago, and there's no way in hell they're going to pop to the screen and get you. So now as an adult, hopefully, you can be entertained by a movie, but you never fall for it. You never say, oh my God, that's real. It doesn't happen. And you can always tell yourself, you see some women, they like to fall for it more than men do. They love the emotions involved. So what happens is they'll sit there, it'll be a scary movie, and they look down and they go, it's just a movie, it's just a movie, it's just a movie. To remind themselves that that's what clarity is. To remind yourself that you always have clarity. You're just falling for the thinking. So with your thoughts, when you have a negative thought and you're thinking about it all day long and it's freaking you out, it's like, okay, I have to stop thinking about this thing because it's freaking me out. Any thought you have is not real. It is not real. It is generated 100% from your thinking. It's thought generated. So any thought you have, good or bad, if you fall for it and you get the emotion or the feeling, you're feeling your thinking. Does that make any sense? So it's like your movie's going on. They're the best special effects in the world. And you can't tell what's real and what's not. But the special effects that you fall for, that makes you feel an emotion, and that throws you off track as an entrepreneur. But likewise, the clients that you're looking for as an entrepreneur, they face the same problem. Break it up a little bit.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I was saying that with your clients, think of it this way. How often do you hear the story where you're an entrepreneur, you're doing your thing, you have a product or a service, and they come out to you, they reach out to you and they say, you know what, I think I want a coach. I definitely want a coach. I definitely need some SEO done. I definitely want to lose the weight. I definitely want to create my brand. I'm ready. I want to write my book. I'm ready. And you see, like, they had a moment of clarity. They made a decision that's going to ultimately help them in a real way. They had that thought, that decision in a moment of clarity. Now, when they came to you and they went through the whole free session, the whole free consultation, and they hear the price, they have now their contaminated thinking comes back and they say, whoa, I don't want to spend money on all this stuff. Or, whoa, I don't want to spend that much. When really, even if you were to charge pennies, it still would be too much. If you charge 10 times more, it's still too much. In fact, we talked about this last year. When you raise your price, the complaining goes away. Isn't it funny? Isn't that funny? So when your job as an entrepreneur, whether it's related or not, is to figure out a way to show them that contaminated thinking is what's stopping them from taking action. They have the money, and if they don't have it, they can find the money. They made the decision in the moment of clarity. What's stopping them now? It's the contaminated thinking. But clarity is always there. Our default states as human beings is to be in clarity. So the contaminated thinking is like the muscles working. And the second your muscles stop working, you get access to that. It's similar to a river with flowing water. The flowing water is the clarity. And in the wintertime, there's icicles form on the sides. And again, I'm still paraphrasing Jamie Smart's book. And the icicles break apart and flow downstream, and it creates a big sheet of ice over the top. That sheet of ice on the top is contaminated thinking. But water is always still flowing right underneath. You're always one thought away from clarity. It doesn't take effort. It just takes a realization.
When I started out in my cleaning business about 20-some years ago, I think I had the biggest contaminated thinking ever, because I was following what others were doing, what they were charging. And so if one of the cleaners was charging 3 rooms for $99, I would go out and charge 3 rooms for $98 just to be cheaper. The problem was, and so on and so now we're all in this boat thinking that cheap price is the way to go. So we're all engaging in these price wars, and guess what we're attracting? We're attracting people with no money. So we get out to these jobs, and the carpets were so rat nasty. I mean, the house should be burned down, let alone having the carpets clean. And it was just, so you're doing 10 times. So when I look back and I step back, I said, you know, I can't do this anymore. I don't have any money for my equipment. I don't have any money to pay bills. All I'm doing is cleaning these houses that aren't even worth putting carpet in. So I said, you know what? I can't do this anymore. I cannot compete with price, not cheap price. So that moment, I tripled my prices. Knew could afford my service. And the funny thing happened is that in that moment of clarity, my whole world shifted. My cleaning business became more profitable. And yet my competition was still out there charging these cheap prices, still cleaning, you know, other people's rejects, basically. You know, other companies didn't want to clean them, just these cheap, only the cheap companies did cleaner. And I think in that moment of clarity, everything that I did in my business took a whole different level. I started creating value. I started creating educational materials. I started making my marketing different. And now instead of you know, averaging $75 a sale, I was averaging $750 a sale. And people, wow, this is to clean for these higher end clients as it was for these cheap clients. So, you know, you look at the time that you put into something and you're thinking, okay, do I want to clean this $75 job, or do I want to clean this $750 job? Well, hands down, I would rather spend one day working with one client to make me that amount of money than 10 clients all day to make the same amount.
Definitely.
You know, and entrepreneurs everywhere are still clinging to the notion that they have to be cheaper to get the work coming in.
You know what? I'm gonna stop 1 second.
Contaminated thinking.
I'm gonna interject for 1 second, and you go back to your story. There's a caveat, and this drives me up the freaking wall, man. I've worked with enough people at this point, and I hear this from everybody that had a coach before me, or they left their coach to work with me. And you've probably heard this before too, where they were getting charged so much money, but they never got the service, or they were never promised the thing that they were promised. They never got the thing they were promised. So the caveat is when you raise your prices, make sure you have the skill level to match your prices. Don't just be a coach to be a coach. Do the skills, get the experience, and then and raise the price. If you're going to charge $1,000 a month for coaching somebody through mental barriers or through signing a business, actually make it happen for them instead of just charging them and then getting pissy when they leave you. Sorry. I'm sorry. That's an eye-opener I experienced as a coach. That, wow, you're so much better than my last coach. Really? Are you just saying that to make me feel special? No, really. You're like you charge, at the time, you charge half of what they do, and you're giving me at least four times as much information and value. And I go, we're just getting started. We have a lot more to cover. This is the tip of the iceberg. If your coach was giving you 4 times less and charge you twice as much, I'm doing something wrong. But then again, so are they.
Mm-hmm.
So,
you know, when someone tells you your price is too low, you know, for the value that you're giving them, it's time to raise your prices, because people value what you're giving them. So don't discount yourself to get those clients.
Absolutely. Sorry, going.
Now let's see things. I had a client that, and I think I took it the wrong way. She has been burned so many times by other people. And, I got her on the phone, I talked to her, and I thought I was telling her all the right things. I was listening to her, taking notes. And then one of her helpers had contacted me, and we were talking. And I was getting the same information, jotting it down. And so she says, well, put a proposal together and send it out to me. Okay. My time got ahead of me, and I sent her an email, a short email. I said, I will have a proposal to you in the next few days, but here's some of my notes that we're going over. And, this is what I'm gathering that you're looking for based on my conversation with you and her. She responds back, that's not exactly what I wanted, blah, blah, blah. I'm really not thrilled with how you're handling this. And I'm thinking, whoa, where'd that come from? And I could have retaliated, and I could have said, you know what? Yeah, you're not the right fit. Go away. I don't like your attitude. And I sent an email saying, I apologize. I picked up on the wrong miscommunication. I'll have everything straightened out for you in the next few days. Again, my apologies. So she responds back, oh, I am so glad that you took the time to apologize to me. I'm sorry that I exploded on you, blah, blah, blah. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, one, ideally, there are going to be customers out there who come off, on probably a bad foot. They're ready to explode over you because of the way they were treated in the past, and they already have this level of discomfort, with the industry that you're in. Now we can, in our way that we evaluate our clients, can say no right away. Or we could see the potential and say yes, but what's it going to cost you? Is it going to cost you taking a step back and being patient with them? Is it going to take, a little bit more money because they're going to be, a pain in the ass? Or is it just going to be, like we go back, a little bit of clarity that says, okay, this is just one of those people that I need to be patient with.
Yeah, and they might be lacking the clarity too. See, one thing I've been doing nowadays, instead of what's called hustling, which is, hey, how's it going? I'm a coach. Hey, how's it going? I'm a coach. Hey, let's do a free session. Hey, let's do a free session. Which is what I hear. My Facebook just rings. I get I think about 10 new friend requests per week on just other coaches trying to sell me on their coaching. When my profile looks pretty obvious, I'm pretty sure I'm a coach too. But I got the testimonial, I got the picture with the suit and everything. Anyway, but instead, what I do now is I live what I teach. So, for example, I work a lot in downtown Jersey City, which is a financial district. A lot of my clients, they're from down there. So there's the Goldman Sachs building, there's the New York Stock Exchange. New York Stock Exchange is actually in Jersey City. It's not in New York. It's right in my backyard. So I go down there and I have conversations. I have coffee. I do my thing. I hold my clients' sessions in coffee shops down there. And what happens is I come across somebody, and I'm not trying to change. Keep in mind, I'm not trying to push my service. I'm not trying to get them to say, I'm sorry, what do you do for a living? Because I don't want to give my elevator pitch. I'm much more natural, relaxed with it. So a lady last week, I was like, hey, how you doing? She goes, oh, it's one of those days, And I go, one of those days? What do you mean by that? What is one of those days? And she goes, No, I don't know. What is one of those days? And she goes, oh, it's one of those days where, you wake up in the morning, you don't want to get out of bed, and then you got to go to work, and it's just, the anxiety is high that day. I'm like, whoa, 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 the anxiety? What anxiety? He's like, are you being attacked right now? No. Tell me more about that anxiety. She goes, well, I'm just an anxious person. So now she's identifying. This is what I do. This is the category of what I do. If you don't do these things, don't try. Do it your way. So I said, whoa, whoa. So you are an anxious person. So yeah. And I asked, what are you that's not an anxious person? And she has this confused look on her face. And that's the whole point of what I do. I dematerialize the problem. So you come with me with a problem, and you're like, I tried everything, it doesn't work. I'll ask you these specific questions that bring you out of that light up other parts of your brain to show you how small that problem really is and how fast it can go away. So I say, what are you not that's not anxious? What are you that's not anxious? And then I follow up with, what are you not that is anxious? And they seem like silly questions, but in the moment when someone's feeling the emotion and they think of these fully, they stare off into space, they're like, and they get confused, but the confusion is a good thing. You can't find the solution until you get confusion from your problem. And then I ask her certain questions that I don't want to reveal what they all are, but she came to the point where her anxiety went from an 8 down to a 2. And I never mentioned the word anxiety or anything that had to do with, let me coax you into feeling calm. And then the one thing that therapists and other coaches do is that they try to change their clients, and then they spend 8 sessions convincing them that they've changed. Now, I do not condone that. Even that's the tradition. That's what they do. That's when you go to therapy. That's what they do. They convince you that you've changed. But instead, I say, well, you feel calm now? Where are you at now? Oh, I'm at a 2. Are you sure? Yes. How do you know you're sure? Oh, I know because I'm like, my heart rate's lower, my breathing's lower, I'm comfortable in my own skin. Oh, how do you feel about that? I feel really good. Are you sure? And they go, yeah, I'm sure. How do you know? Well, because I'm not anxious anymore, and because blah, blah, blah. And I just keep them in the circle. And then now they're convincing me with conviction and emotion that they've changed, and they're never going to go back to the way they were before. So that at the end of this, they're going, Chris, I'm a 2, I'm relaxed, I'm not an anxious person at all, I'm a very calm person, actually, at my deepest level. And it's impossible for me to experience anxiety. I don't even know what the hell anxiety is anymore, Chris. And there's nothing you can do about it. That's good. That's very good. Now, I didn't say do this, do that, you should do this, or think in terms of this. I'm not trying to motivate them. Instead, I'm asking them the right questions, and I'm just naturally interested in what they're all about. What do they mean by that? And now they're convincing me why they've changed. They did the work. They finally did the work. They saved them 10 years of therapy. They saved them 10 years of psychiatry. But I'm not saying that's what I do. I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm not a therapist. And then 2 days later, a similar event happened where another woman I met like 10 years ago, she pops back into my life, and she's going through this stuff with her family and her son and the school system, and she's crying. And I'm like, well, cheer up, you know. But then I go back into the same spiel. I mean, I ask her questions that bring her outside of that. I show her about what clarity is. And at the end of it, she's like, how did you do all this stuff? I feel so different. And as she's saying that, I'm about to say what I do for a living. I almost fell for it. I almost did say what I do for a living. The girl from 2 days ago pops back in, and she interrupts the conversation and screams. She just yells at us. She goes, you've been in my head since the last time I talked to you. I just can't feel anxious. What the hell did you do to me? And I go, oh, I'm sorry. You want me to fix that? Want me to undo that? And she's like, no. I love it. But I'm traveling more. I got a raise in my job yesterday. And I asked for it myself. There was no fear. I'm still at a 2. And I said, what will it take to become a 1? And then she was like, well, I love you. And then she gives me a big old hug, she's crying, and she walks away. Now, the girl who just experienced me now just saw a real life testimonial. I didn't do it. All I did was ever ask questions. I never said, oh, I do this. I can help you lose this much weight and this much. No, I didn't even do that. Now she's texting me, how much is coaching? This is the price. Great, I can't wait. Let's get started tomorrow at this time. Send me the contract tonight, please, so I'll have it signed by tomorrow. That's it. I did no selling. I did zero selling. I did zero hustling. I had a good conversation. She got something out of it. I got something out of it. I got to hone my skills even further, but I get to further see how people emotionally move their life around. And it's a beautiful process. It's very illogical, but it doesn't matter. It just, the way it is for each person is very different, and it's entertaining to watch them change every single time.
So that's the next book, The No Hustle, No Sales Approach by Chris Bolger.
That's the third book. The second book is the Pure Focus. Is the Pure Focus book with the how to get abnormally strong, abnormally fast, and stay that way.
So during the before we started recording, in fact, just now, you raise your glass and you have coffee. What's your favorite coffee drink?
I'm actually wearing the shirt too. Bulletproof coffee.
So what makes that different than the rest of them?
That's a good example, actually. This coffee, it sold me from the very beginning simply by doing things that other coffee companies don't do. It said, we grow mold-free, toxin-free coffee. And at first I was like, what? That doesn't exist in coffee. And then I found out through him educating me that every mass marketing coffee has mold and toxins in it. It's inevitable, especially Arabica beans, or Arabica, however you're going to say those. They're the most susceptible to mold. And a big coffee shop franchise in this country, they use nothing but Arabica beans. And then he said that, have you ever gotten jittery from coffee or racing thoughts? I'm like, yeah, all the time. Isn't that what coffee is? What coffee does? And he says, no, that's not what coffee does. That's what the mold in coffee does. You get jittery because you're in a stress response, and that's caused by the mold. And I was like, what? Give me these coffee beans. So drinking his coffee, I get a little hyper, as you can see. I'm talking a little fast, but other than that, I don't get jittery. I have clear thoughts. I put about 2 tablespoons of grass-fed butter in my coffee. It tastes amazing, and I'll never go back. I'd rather not drink coffee than drink this guy's coffee. I even bought the shirt. I got a bunch of shirts from this guy. I got the the shirts. I got the collagen. I got the thermoses. I got the coffee airscape container. It's awesome. I'm a raving fan.
And see right there, I mean, this coffee company won you over because they educated you. They showed you what others were doing wrong. And they showed you the company, and you're like the national spokesman now.
Yeah, silly. You know what's funny? As I find, and this is going to sound so childish, but this is how I enjoy it. This is how I like to do it. I keep the beans whole, and I make it he has a video out where he breaks down how to make everything, and I make it the exact same way with the exact same appliances. Like he uses a Blendtec blender, a $500 blender. So do I. He has his bulletproof T-shirt on. Guess what? I drink coffee once or twice a week, and I always happen to have this shirt on.
So it's a mindset Jedi, huh? Jedi trick.
No, it's just, it makes me feel like it makes me feel as if it works better. I don't know why.
If everybody had a Chris Bolger shirt, we would feel invincible when we are going to lift weights.
Regardless of your size.
Yeah. I think I'll have to get one.
I'll make one for you.
But not this image. I want a different image of Chris. Yeah, I don't know how much weight I could push, but I know that when I did go to the gym, my strongest features were my legs, and the leg lifts were probably 400 or 500 pounds, and people were like, I think it was the reverse leg, so you're on your back pushing up.
Yeah.
And I had this big guy walk in, and he looks at me. He goes, "You almost done?" I said, "No."
What?
He says, "When are you going to be done?" I said, "Look, there's 100 other machines over here. Go use them and then come back." "I don't want to use them. I only come here for this one." Well, go. And it goes, they come in for a certain thing, and they don't know what else to do.
Yeah, well, he's like anybody else. He has his blinders on. He's doing what works for him. We can't say if it's right or wrong, but yeah, everyone has a little plan. Sometimes they need a little fine tuning to the plan, and that's another thing is that don't go to the gym and just don't do as I say. When I say like go to the gym and do your own thing and just keep doing your own thing, if you don't know what the hell you're doing, like seek out a fitness trainer. Like if you need help, even like I've been a fitness trainer for 12 years. Like you have to know what you're doing. That's important. That's very important. You have to know that what you're doing is still safe, even if it's out of the box.
And I think that's in real life. I mean, you go to the gym, you get a trainer, you know what you want to. They tell you exactly what you should work on to build your muscles. Well, entrepreneurs need to get that trainer to help them build the muscles of their business the right way, so they can stay focused with clarity and don't contaminate what they're doing.
And it takes a deeper understanding of clarity. The more you know about what clarity is and what it isn't, the more you can have it for yourself, but then also induce it in others. For example, I said before, like the no hustle selling, where you joked around about before. Yeah, in John Cheplack, I met him through David Simone, and he has a book called Interrupt the Pattern. So I was like, all right, let me try it out. Let me read it. I love this book because he's so right about this. The next phase in life of our generation in selling is not trying to convince them. We're trying to close the deal. Instead, you're helping them become a better person as just what you normally do. It's not even part of the free session. You're just helping them change. You're helping them find peace and clarity. And that's the selling. Like I just got 2 more clients from just peace and selling. I mean, peace and clarity. That's it. I didn't try to sell. I didn't say, oh, I can take you on. I can show you a thing or two. No, I didn't say, hey, you need this. I do it better than anyone else. I don't say that. I mean, you can experience it and then you tell me. And then obviously for my clients now, they say I do it better than everybody else, but I don't know. I'm just a dude, But so is everybody else.
Now, how do you find you? I mean, is it social media? Is it they have to go to New Jersey to find you, or is it people are finding you from everywhere?
Honestly, even that, like everyone gets caught up in having like that. They need like a solid marketing plan. They need to have like spend all this money on like all this stuff they have to have like published and everything. And while it does help, I just strictly do the things I like. As an entrepreneur, I started with the decision that I want to have a flourishing business, and I want to do things. I want to do only the things I like to do. So that's exactly what I do now. Like I said, like how I was in the gym, you put your blinders on and you do the thing that works for you. For me, what I do is I have Facebook, I have Gmail, I have LinkedIn, and I'll comment. I'll give value on other people's pages. A motivational speaker, his name is Jeremy McGilvery. A long time ago, I posted something to his page. He loved it. I got like 45 likes on it because he's like a large following. He added me. We did an interview together. I got like 3 or 4 more clients out of that. He invited me back. I love the guy. The guy is awesome. Like his story is amazing, and he reached out to we talked on the phone, and he's doing big things in Texas. And it just all I did was this. Hey, I see he led a status that was kind of like I didn't agree with it, but I see what you're saying, so I just added on to it, and I said, hey, thanks for the status. And that all I did was give love. I gave love, and I got like 10 requests from that. I still get requests from other people's pages. People follow me. I posted something to your page last week, and one of your friends followed me. And I was like, oh no, like I just do that, and then I'll look at their page. If I see in their photos I can help them with something, then I reach out to them and I give them information. I say, hey, you have this problem. I'm not sure if you can resonate with this or not, but I see something going on in your life. Tell me if I'm wrong or not. And then if I'm right, they get goosebumps, and then they want to know more. So I say, well, let's talk on Skype. Let me see your face, and I can tell you more about who you are and what you do. And then from there, I give. If they don't like it, so what? I'm not here to give only for money. I prefer to live, like, I need money to live, so I prefer when people don't insult you and they don't just suck you dry, of course. But at the same time, I'm not looking for permission to give my fullest gift to the world. And in doing that, I've gotten so many more clients. For example, I'll do this with a guy in Arkansas. I think you know who this is. But and I gave him a free session. And at first he said, you know, I can't afford it. What do you think I should do to make money to get this for you? I was like, dude, that's on you, man. That's you have to do that for yourself. Months later, he said something else, and I was like, he said something on Facebook, and I was like, guy, I gotta give you another free session. I can't let you keep doing this to yourself. Do you accept? He accepted. I give 1 hour sessions, 1 hour free sessions. Okay, we went for 2.5 hours, and at the 1.5 hour mark, he was like, Chris, listen, I really appreciate this information, and I love it. Thank you so much for this gift, but I don't want to waste your time. I can't pay you for this session. You can stop if you want to. I don't want to insult you, and I so appreciate that. You know what I said? I said, dude, I don't say his name. I said, you know what? I see we're at an hour and a half, but I'm going to keep going because I'm loving where this is going for you. And I kept going for we went to 2.5 hours. And then he rants and raves about me all the time on Facebook, unsolicited. I don't ask him. I don't tell him to do that. I never suggested to him. And he just does it. And I get clients from that. Still, I just gave. I don't care if you can afford me or not. If I'm going to do a session with you, I'm not going to stop abruptly just because you can't afford me. I'm doing what I love to do. And that's it. I
think one of the funniest things that you told me, and this is going back, I think, a bunch of clunky cars to sit them out on the street in Jersey that you live, just so that you would have peace and quiet from nobody else's car alarms going off. I thought, you know what? You know, and I think that's what we all need to do sometimes. We need to just pattern interrupt our own lives just so that we can get some quiet. And you know, like I had to come outside on my porch because it's so noisy inside. My dog barks at everything. You know, my grandson runs around and says, "Granddad," and pats me on the head when I'm trying to do work. And you know, I love them, but you know, sometimes you just need peace and quiet. And it's hard to tell the neighbors when they're running their cars too long or running their lawnmowers that, hey, you know what, I'm trying to work here, knock the hell off. You know, but you know, if you can in a short amount of time.
You're breaking up there.
Yeah, I lost you.
There you go. Gotcha now. You know, you're absolutely right. You have to just do the thing. Think of it this way: you're an entrepreneur. Yeah, you become an entrepreneur to take control of your life. I think we can all say that that's what the main goal is, right? Why would you look to somebody else for approval to do the thing that you want to be the expert in? If you're going to be the expert, go and do the thing as hard as possible. There's 10,000 other people doing very similar things. Go and do it harder than they do. If you're going to go and be a basketball player or a wrestler, you know that there's other people who want the same thing you do. So you have to train harder than they do. That's the only way you can do it. Whether you have a training partner, a client, or not, go and do the thing. When I do my spare time, and Rob, I know you do this too. You can understand. You write a lot. You write because you're looking to improve yourself and your own ideas. If you're just waiting for the next client to work on your ideas, you'll never make it. If you write your books, if you make the videos, if you read more books, if you attend seminars, if you give information for free to see if it even works or not, that's how you know, that's how you become the expert. You become an athlete in the thing that you do. You train hard every day. You also take breaks. That's important. But at the same time, you give, and you do it without mercy, with relentlessly. You give your fullest gift to the world, whether they want it, whether they can accept it or not. But the second you drop dead, you can say, well, everyone can say that you died giving your fullest gift. You didn't die haggling. You didn't die struggling. You didn't die trying to get clients and work on your business. No, you were just giving your fullest gift. You are now a hero. You died a hero. That's important.
You know, this was a very fast hour that went by, and we have like a few minutes left, and so if you have any words of wisdom, you know, that you want to share with the audience, something that, you know, maybe we haven't touched on yet, you know, the floor is all yours for a few minutes.
Sure, I could say 3 things, possibly 2 things. One is, I had this all planned out, man. I had this all planned out. One is go in the direction that you want to go, that your body is telling you to go in, regardless of if it's logical or not. Just decide what you want to do in the way you want to do it, and be relentless to yourself. Don't fall for the traps of like, oh, I don't want to do that. Like SEO, for example, I hate doing SEO, but I know it's important. It's the lifeblood of an online business. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go. That's why I hire you. That's why I hire Rob. And I don't care what he costs because it's what I need done, and he's the best at it. Why the hell would I waste my money anywhere else? I'm just going to come back to Rob anyway. So should I spend $10,000 first before I go to Rob, or should I save those $10,000 and go to Rob in the beginning? So that's what when I say I do what I want only, is what I personally do. I like writing. I like Facebooking. I like Skyping. And I like talking to people on the street. Therefore, I'm done with my marketing at that point. Everything else I hire out. I outsource. The second thing is put the blinders on. Don't let everybody else. Let them stare at you. Let them gawk at you and say, what the hell are they doing? Because they're just doing that because you're doing something slightly different. They look at you like you're wrong, or like, that guy's off. No, you're not. They don't know. They're not in your body. They can't possibly know, and you can't possibly explain so they understand. It's impossible. I get stared at all the damn time. Still at the gym, going on 6 months training this way, I still get stared at. These big, jacked guys, and I'm like, what the hell are you looking at? Like, leave me alone. We have different body types. I'm not you. Okay? And even still, building muscle, that's a cultural thing. That's a societal. That's a trend. Everyone looks to be bigger than everybody else. And people ask me, like, oh, what do you take? And I go, what do I take? I take nothing. My biggest supplement is coffee once a week. So I always ask people, I say, do you buy your strength from GNC? Or do you actually just did you build your own strength that way? And they get insulted. But anyway, second point is put the blinders on. The third point is give your fullest gift regardless if anyone's watching you or not. Give it. If the world and women and careers and society doesn't accept you, and men don't accept you because of what you're doing in the way you're doing it, do it anyway. You're not doing it to get acceptance from them. You're doing it because you were put on this earth to do those things. Do it as hard as you can, regardless if the money is there or not. The money will come. And keep doing the thing. Be the athlete in the thing that you're doing. Those are the 3 things.
And that was great, you know, and I appreciate all the insight into I think not only being a better human being, being more fit, being more mentally aware, and I think the audience will get a lot from you. How do they get a hold of you, Chris? I mean, I know that you have a website, or do you just prefer them to go to your Facebook?
I think the Facebook would be the best way. I have a hotline, but it's been being a little, what's the word? Being a little weird for the past like 2 weeks. But I'll give that anyway. My hotline is 844 help me Chris. And then my website is chrisbolgerperformance.com. That's my name, CHRISBOLGER performance.com. And then my Facebook is, let me get the link. It's facebook.com/ here's an SEO problem right here. Facebook.com/ Chris the Hypnotist. Because I did hypnosis shows for a while. But yeah, it was Chris. My stage name was Chris the Hypnotist. And while that was fun, Facebook doesn't let you change your URL after you change it once. So I couldn't change it back. Didn't know that back then. I didn't know that 10 years ago.
Yeah, you're kind of trapped for now, and maybe you'll have to open up a new page one time, you know, in the future.
Yeah, we'll talk. We'll talk about that because that'd be your job.
Yeah, this was a fantastic.
You breaking up again?
I'm doing this interview.
There you go.
Superpowers, or end up in the hospital. But yeah, this was a great interview. I hope everybody enjoys it.
I hope you rank me in the top 3 interviews that surround Steve Sims' interview. I know the order. I know it's in like the top 3 are gonna be. Hopefully, it's like a tie between first place for like Steve Sims and Owen Hemseth. Hopefully, I'm on that list too.
I mean, all the interviews are great. I mean,
Awesome.
every single one of them has unique information, and I love it. I mean, because there are so much stuff out there, so much. Everybody has a unique story. I mean, Steve's is a little unique, and Owen. I mean, he's fighting his battle with cancer. But you know, you are just you. That can, and you're proving it to them. I mean, you're breaking records. To me, that's incredible as well. And I think everybody needs to know how to do that. They need to know that there's somebody out there that's crusading for them, that's in their corner, that's helping them to get them to the next level. You know, whether it be, you know, reducing their stress, or giving them more energy, or just letting them know that, hey, you know, this is how you can be a better entrepreneur. You know, and here you're the prime example of one of the, you know, an entrepreneur who's not being a slave to his own business. You know, you're going out there and making things happen. You know, you're doing it on your time. You know, you have your own schedule. You go out and lift weights. You do this. That to me is the perfect entrepreneur. You know, you are controlling your life, where others, they create these great businesses and they become slaves to their business.
That's true. That's very true.
So with that said, I'm going to say adios to my audience, and I'll see you guys later.